typical way of framing things is linear. This is how we're brought up, subject, object, here, there. And that's quite useful for getting out the door. It's not really useful, that contracted linear thinking, to actually understand this. And typically what happens is people go, this I is trying to get to that carrot, goal, enlightenment. And of course that's already got a built-in impossibility, because you can't get from constructed thinking to unconstructed. So rather than seeing that, what we often suggest is a figure ground reversal. Start from the assumption that you are emptiness itself, that you are life force, you're just that. And then just see anything that comes up as an obscuring. Anything, any contraction, go, then look at it, see through it. And investigating it, it falls away. And what's left is what you are. So it's not about getting to something, it's simply just noticing that you are what you are. One often useful hint is to be with it, accept, there you go. There you go, there's that old habit, there's that pattern again, there's that wanting to distract, that's okay. Acknowledging it, letting it be, and it loses its power and falls away. If you try to react to it, you strengthen it. If you buy into it, you screw it up again, like we're also familiar with. So just, there's that pattern, there's that habit, that's okay. It may just simply fall away.
But what if it doesn't? Is it okay just to say, okay, I'm distracting myself and that's okay? Yeah.
See, there's no formulas. Just one important thing is it's learning to discriminate between all the neurotic patterning and habits and that more essential self, those deep nudges or hints, And there's no simple formula. What's useful is being really reflective and just looking, without judging, just noticing. There's a beautiful paradoxical meditation, and to do it, you simply, and it doesn't matter whether you close your eyes or not, it doesn't matter, you just simply say to all the parts of you, okay, identities, egos, subpersonalities, whatever you want to call it, thoughts, feelings, emotions, habits, do whatever you like. Do whatever you feel like. Off you go, do anything you like, and know that I'm watching you. And this taps into Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that observation changes the observer. I remember in the 90s, early 90s, I was working in an organisation that had a factory division as part of it. And I wandered in there one day and they're all painting everything. And I said, what are you doing? They said, the Prime Minister is coming next week and we're just making sure everything looks good. And at the time the Prime Minister was Paul Keating, and I thought, poor man. He must think the whole of Australia is freshly painted. Because just the thought of him coming got everyone jumping to change everything. Yeah. Well, I remember when I used to teach at the University of New South Wales, teaching leadership, and the head of the program director used to love my stuff, and so he'd always want to wander in. So him coming in, and he'd say, I just want to observe, would immediately change the way I was and changed everyone. The big boss is here. So by analogy, do what you like. Thoughts, feelings, unconscious, all the stuff, just self-kind, do anything you like and just know that I'm watching you. Just say that to yourself a few times and just watch what happens. Because what we're inviting here is cultivating the habit of resting as knowing, as presence, as witnessing. Just watching. Because that pure observing spontaneously changes everything. And there's no formula, do this or that, Just watch, notice, and just see what happens. Because wisdom is actually observing and seeing the patterns. There's event, there's patterns. And seeing the patterns, you start to get a glimpse of the deep structure. Yeah. So just notice, reflect, and your very noticing changes everything. It's like this saying that nothing stands up to investigation. Because when you investigate, all there is nothing. Because that's the only thing that can stand up. Nothing. Yeah.
And it's interesting, you know, the Mahavakya, there's a few of them, but one of the Mahavakyas is that thou art, Tatvamasi, or you are that, or everything is that. You know. And that statement in itself is a statement of fact. So that everything arising is the thatness. Any sense of obscuration, any sense of confusion, any sense of, oh, that's been sullied, or something's disappeared, or something's been lost, is still the thatness expressing in those particularised forms. So everything, even that seeming obscuration, the seeming losing, is the thatness as well. So it's not that something's getting in the way of. It's a very interesting little play. Without that fixation, without that holding a preference of one over the other, things are free to flow. It's when we get that hammer and nail, and we're nailing something, we're hanging on to it. It's like without preference, without judging, or even judging's happening, then don't judge the judging. Or as soon as it's seen that there's a judging of the judging, it's like, oh God, there I'm judging again. It's like, that's okay. Just that seeing of it lightens it, it loosens it. And because all of the stuff of the investing in the me notion is purely habit, every time it's seen for what it is, it loosens. It's like a knot, rope that has a strong knot in it. And you pick it away at it, and you think you're getting somewhere, and you look at it and think, oh, I haven't done anything, it's not going anywhere. You keep working, and then you just start working and loosening it. And you loosen it, and you loosen it, and each time it's loosened a little more. And then it gets to a point where it just starts to come apart and then gone.
Yeah, I did realise last night that I have, and I suppose a lot of people do, most people have a strong tendency to grasp at pleasurable things. I want to hold on to pleasurable things, like walking down the beach with the friends, but want to reject the being at home alone and feeling separate again. And that seems to be the real pattern, like wanting to seek out, pleasurable experiences.
You've actually nailed it beautifully. You've nailed that beautifully, because that core issue is the me notion. This is the very core of it. It's very simple in that sense. Is a me notion, which is just another thought in the thinking stream, seemingly responding to something that arises. So something arises, we measure it to experiences from memory. Oh, this is pleasurable, we want it. We want to hang on to it. And of course, like everything, like the weather, like the clouds, everything comes and goes. And it's intensely pleasurable, or we like it, or it's beautiful. And then as it starts to dissipate, we're madly trying to haul it back. No, don't go. And then fall into that sense of loss. Or else something arises that we judge, again, using all our catalogue of past stories. We deem something as being unpleasant or something we don't want. So we put all this energy into trying to block it, trying to get rid of it.
Or trying to work out how to get the pleasurable feeling again in the future. What am I going to do now? I'm feeling separate. What am I going to do to make myself feel better?
Exactly. Yeah. So without judging, when a feeling arises, a sensation arises, a thought arises, but even if it's something like fear whatever it might be, or a thought or a sad memory, without wanting to block it or hang on to it, just leaving it as it is, you know, it's free to move on of its own, like traffic. And fear is not negative. Fear is not positive. Fear is fear. It's part of the integral, you know, self-preservation mechanism. You know? So there's nothing, you know, that we have to get rid of. There's nothing we have to eliminate. It's when something arises, rather than the habit of fixating on it, wanting to hang on to it or let it go. It arises, it subsides, that's how it is, it's free to move on, it's like the clouds in the sky.
There's a lovely story about Nisargadatta, and as he was coming to speak, there was a group of Westerners sitting there, and he looked at them and burst out laughing, and he said, "You want what you don't have, and you don't want what you have." He said the solution is so simple. Want what you have, don't want what you don't have. End of suffering. Yeah.